Dear student, my name is Dr. Sumaya. I am presenting the lecture on water pollution. Now, what is water pollution? We will discuss following list of contents. What is water pollution? Major types of pollutants, sources, point and non-point sources of pollution. What are the major categories of water pollution? Link between the global warming and water pollution, thermal pollution, eutrophication and water pollution, pollution in streams, lake pollution, preventive measures from non-point pollution sources and the point pollution sources. Now, what is water pollution? Water pollution is the contamination of water bodies that result as in human activities. Water bodies include, for example, lakes, rivers, oceans, aquifers, and groundwater. Water pollution results when contaminants are introduced into the natural environment. For example, releasing treated wastewater into the natural water bodies can lead to degradation of aquatic ecosystem. This can lead to public health problems for people living downstream. They may use the same polluted river water for drinking or bathing or irrigation purposes. Water pollution is the leading worldwide cause of death and diseases. For example, due to waterborne diseases which may cause by using the water. Types of the water pollution. Types of the water pollution include surface water, groundwater. Surface water is the water on the surface of the continent, such as in rivers, lakes, and wetlands. It non-saline surface water uses is replenished by precipitation. It is lost through evaporation, seepage into the ground where it becomes groundwater, used by plants for transpiration, extracted by mankind for agriculture, living industry, or discharged to the sea where it becomes saline. Now the groundwater contamination. Over more than 50% in our country, population depends on the groundwater for drinking water. Groundwater is also one of our most important source of water for irrigation. Groundwater, unfortunately, is susceptible to pollutants. Groundwater contamination occurs when man-made products such as gasoline, oil, road salts, and chemicals get into the groundwater and cause it to become unsafe and unfit for the human use. Basically, groundwater represent the water that is present beneath the earth's surface in soil pore spaces and in fractures of the rock formation. Unit of rock or unconsolidated deposit layers, that is the layer of gravel, layer of sand, known as aquifer, containing the quantity of water. The depth at which the soil pore spaces in the rock becomes completely saturated with water, it is called as water table. Marine pollution and nutrient pollution are the subsets of the water pollution. Groundwater pollution, contaminants releasing into the ground down to the groundwater, causing the groundwater pollution. Groundwater contamination occurs when man-made products such as gasoline, oil, road salts, and chemicals get into the groundwater and cause it to become unsafe and unfit for human use. Material from the landscape can move through the soil and ends up into the groundwater. For example, pesticides and fertilizers can find their way into the groundwater supplies after their application onto the plants. These pesticides are used to protect the plants against certain type of the pests when they attack on the plants. Similarly, road salts, toxic substances that are produced from mining sites and used motor oils also may seep into the groundwater. In addition to these, For untreated waste from septic tanks and toxic chemicals from underground storage tanks and leaky landfills also contaminate the groundwater. What type of the dangers of this contaminated groundwater? Drinking contaminated groundwater can have serious health problems. Disease such as hepatitis, dysentery may be caused by contamination from the septic tank waste. Poisoning may be caused by toxins that have leached into the well water supplies. Wildlife can also be harmed by contaminated groundwater. Other long-term effects such as certain types of cancer may also result from the exposure to the polluted water. May, storage tanks that may contain gasoline oil, chemicals, and other types of the liquids, and they can either be above or below the ground. They are estimated to be over 10 million storage tanks buried in the United States. Don't know the next is the septic system. Septic system is another potential source of groundwater contamination. On-site wastewater disposal system used by homes, offices or other buildings that are not connected to a city sewer system. Septic systems are designed to slowly drain away human waste underground at slow, harmless rate. An improperly designed, located, constructed or maintained septic system can leak bacteria, viruses, household chemicals and other contaminants into the groundwater, causing serious problems. Now the next source is use of the uncontrolled hazardous waste. Hazardous waste sites can lead to the groundwater contamination if there are other containers layering around that are full of hazardous material. If there is a leak, this contamination can make their way down through the soil and finally leach into the soil underground and accumulate into the groundwater. Now the next is the landfills. Landfills are the places that our garbage is taken to be buried. Landfills are supposed to have a protective bottom layer to prevent contaminants from getting into the water. However, if there is no layer or it is cracked, contaminants from the landfill, car battery acid, paint, household cleaners can make their way down into the groundwater. Now the next chemicals and road salts. Road salts, that is the de-icing road salts. The widespread use of chemicals and road salts is another source of potential groundwater contamination. Chemicals include products used on lawns, farm fields to kill weeds and insects and to fertilize plants, and other products used in homes, businesses. Road salts are used in the winter time to put melt ice on the roads to keep cars from sliding around. When the ice melts, the salt gets washed off the roads and eventually ends up in the water. Now the next is atmospheric contaminants. Since groundwater is a part of hydrologic cycle, contaminants in other part of the cycle, such as the atmosphere or bodies of surface water, can eventually be transferred into our groundwater supply. Sources of groundwater pollution was previously explained. Sources of water pollution. Two main sources of water pollution, point source and the non-point source. Point source pollution is easy to identify. As the name suggests, it comes from a single source. That is the one identifiable cause of pollution that enter from a single source such as pipe or ditch. Example of point source pollution: factories and power plants can be a source of point source pollution that affect both air and water. Smokestacks may spew carbon monoxide, heavy metal, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide or particulate matter into the air. Oil refineries, paper mills, and auto plants that use water as part of their manufacturing processes can discharge effluent wastewater containing harmful chemical pollutants into rivers, lakes, or oceans. Municipal wastewater treatment plants are another source of point source pollution. Clean Water Act include the industrial wastewater plant and the municipal wastewater plant into the point source pollution. Effluent from a treatment plant can introduce nutrients and harmful microbes into the waterways. Nutrients can cause rampant growth of algae into the water. Now the non-point source of water pollution, the next. Non-point source of water pollution is the opposite of the point source pollution, with pollutants released into a wide area. An example, picture a city street during a thunderstorm. As the rainwater flows, it washes away drops of oil that leaked from the car engines, particles of tire, rubber, dog waste, and trash. The runoff goes into the stream sphere and ends up in a nearby river. Runoff is a major cause of non-point source pollution. It is a big problem in cities because because of all the hard surfaces, including streets and roofs. The amount of pollutants washed from a single city block might be small, but when you add up the miles and miles of pavement in a big city, you get a big problem. In rural areas, runoff can wash sediments from roads in lodged over forest tracks. It can also carry acid and fertilizers from farm fields. All this pollution is likely to wind up in streams, rivers, and lakes. Airborne pollutants are the major contributors to the acid rain. It forms into the atmosphere when sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide combine with water. Because acid rain results from the long range movement of those pollutants from many factories and power plants, it is considered non point source pollution. In the United States, the Clean Air Act and Clean Water Act have helped to limit both point source and non point source pollution. They have set the limits of these pollutants into the water, groundwater. Categories of organic pollutants. Organic pollutants include detergents, food processing waste that include oxidant demanding substances such as fat, grease, when these accumulate into the water causing the water pollution. Similarly, disinfection byproducts found in the disinfected drinking water such as presence of chloroform and insecticides and herbicides when these are applied onto the plants to enhance the yield of the crops. Organohalides, most common type of pesticides and other chemical compounds accumulate into the water, persist into the water and leach into the underground soil, causing the water pollution. Similarly, volatile organic compounds such as industrial solvents from improper storage and chlorinated solvents as polychlorinated biphenyls, trichloroethylenes that are dense and non-aqueous phase liquid. This non-aqueous phase liquid, when accumulate at the bottom of the reservoir, cause the water pollution. Petroleum hydrocarbons including fuels, gasoline, fuel oil, jet fuel, lubricants, motor oil, fuel combustion byproducts from storm water runoff may cause the water pollution. Now the next is drug pollution. Drug pollution which involves the pharmaceutical drugs and their certain type of the metabolites which form when this drug persists into the water and this drug and drug metabolites accumulate into the water, causing the water pollution. Organic water pollutants include acidity caused by industrial discharges, especially sulfur dioxide discharge from the power plant, ammonia from food processing waste, chemical waste produced as industrial byproducts, fertilizers containing nutrients that contain nitrates, phosphates, which are found in storm water runoff from agriculture as well as commercial and residential use. Heavy metal from motor vehicles via urban stormwater runoff and acid mine drainage. All these accumulate into the and drain into the water, groundwater, causing the water pollution. Now the next is macroscopic pollution. Large visible items polluting the water may be termed as floatable material in an urban stormwater or marine debris when found on the open seas and can include such items as trash, garbage that include paper, plastic, food waste discarded by people on the ground along with the accidental dumping of rubbish that are washed by rainfall into the storm drains and eventually all these material discharge into the surface water polluting the water.
Nuclear waste and its effects on water pollution. Nuclear waste is produced from industrial, medical, and scientific processes that use radioactive material. Nuclear waste can have detrimental effects on marine habitats. Nuclear waste comes from number of sources. Operations conducted by nuclear power stations produce radioactive waste. Mining and refining of uranium and thorium are also causes of marine nuclear waste. Waste is also produced in nuclear fuel cycle which is used in many industrial, medical and scientific processes.
Pathogens, disease causing microorganisms are referred to as pathogens. Pathogens can produce waterborne disease in either human or animal host. Coliform bacteria, which are not the actual cause of disease, used as bacterial indicator of water pollution. Other microorganisms known as viruses, bacteria, parasitic worms may cause the health problems. High level of pathogens may result from the on-site sanitation system. That is the on-site sanitation system means septic removal from the septic tank or inadequately treated sewage discharges. Older cities with aging infrastructures may have leaky sewage collection systems, such as leakage from the pipes, leakage from pumps, walls, which can cause sanitary sewer overflow. Some cities also have combined sewer system, which may discharge untreated sewage during rainstorms. Specific contaminants leading to the pollution in water include a wide spectrum of chemicals, pathogens, physical changes such as elevated temperature and discoloration. Thermal pollution basically rise or fall in the temperature of the natural body of water caused by human activities. Use of water as a coolant by power plants and industrial manufacturers cause the change in the temperature. Elevated water temperature decrease oxygen level which can kill fish and alter the food chain composition and also result in reducing the biodiversity. While many other chemicals and substances that are regulated may be naturally occurring, that calcium, sodium, iron, manganese, the concentration of these chemicals usually determines what is a natural component of water and what is a contaminant. High concentration of naturally occurring substance can have negative impact on aquatic flora and fauna. Similarly, oxygen depleting substances may be natural materials such as plant material, leaves, grass, as well as man made chemicals. Other natural and anthropogenic substances may cause turbidity. Turbidity means cloudiness that blocks the light and disrupts plant growth. Alteration of water physical parameters include acidity, that is the change in pH, electrical conductivity, temperature, and eutrophication. And water pollution. Eutrophication is a condition when the environment becomes enriched with the nutrients. This can be a problem in marine habitats such as lakes, as it can cause algal blooms. Fertilizers often used in the farming contain nitrogen, phosphates. Sometimes these fertilizers run off into the nearby water, causing increase in the nutrient level. And this causes phytoplankton to grow and reproduce more rapidly because these phytoplankton needs nutrients, resulting in the algal blooms. The blooms of algae disrupt the normal ecosystem functioning and cause many problems as they use all oxygen in the water, leaving none for other marine life to grow. That result in the death of many aquatic organisms such as fish, which need oxygen in the water for their survival. The blooms of algae may also block sunlight because they cause the turbidity from photosynthetic marine plants under the water surface. Some algae even produce toxins that are harmful to higher forms of life. This can cause problems along the food chain and affect any animal that feed on them. Warming impair water quality in several ways. An increase in water temperature can result in death of many aquatic organisms and disrupt many marine habitats. For example, rise in water temperature cause coral bleaching of reefs around the world. The rise in Earth's water temperature is caused by global warming. Global warming is a process where the average global temperature increases due to greenhouse effect. The burning of fossil fuels releases greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. This causes heat from the sun to get trapped in the Earth's atmosphere and consequently the global temperature rises. This has led to the flooding as increase in pollution, running off into the bay and changes in the water salinity, which impacts the ability of aquatic animals and flora to survive.
Moving next is pollution in streams. If we see the different zones of pollution in river stream, particularly when it is receiving the waste stream. So what happens? These different zones are clean zone, decomposition zone, septic zone, recovery zone, and again clean zone. The clean zone you are seeing here, that is you can see either the first zone or maybe the last zone. So what happens that the river is initially, let us presume that the river is initially clean. So in its natural state, there is a good amount of dissolved oxygen. So let's say this is the red line you see is the dissolved oxygen level. There is a good amount up to 8 ppm. Now what happens when waste is introduced into a river? A waste stream comes introduced into the river, then the first zone that we get means immediately after in like introduction of this waste stream, that we call it decomposition zone. When this decomposition of the waste starts, so initially you see the BOD, which is known as biological oxygen demand, is very low. Then the waste is stream comes and it gets mixed with the river water, so the BOD value of the river water goes up because your waste is going to have a very high BOD value. Oxygen is not only getting consumed, oxygen is coming up from the atmosphere, so there is oxygen transfer is still taking place at the standard rate. So there is oxygen transfer, but the rate of decomposition here, the net rate of decomposition here, oxygen depletion here is much higher than the rate of oxygen coming in the system or the rate of re-aeration, and that is why the net oxygen level starts falling, and so in the net BOD, because the amount of organic matter is getting decomposed. So the what is meant by the clean zone? The zone indicates that the water body in its original condition with the dissolved oxygen near its saturation value. The normal aquatic life prevail. However, certain pathogenic organisms means disease causing organism may also be present, especially it has received waste inflows in the upstream. The next, what is the meaning of decomposition zone? This zone occurs till a certain distance just below the wastewater discharge point and is usually dark and turbid due to deposits at the bottom. Dissolved oxygen is reduced significantly, while increased carbon dioxide makes this zone more deoxygenative. This zone is unfavorable for aquatic life through certain species feeding on the fresh organic matter and certain worms. Similarly, the next zone is the septic zone. Dissolved oxygen is at minimum level, hence the fish population is usually absent. You can see the septic zone between the recovery zone and decomposition zone. Sludge farms and mosquito larvae are present at significant level. Now the next is the recovery zone. In this zone, the water quality starts improving with the water body trying to regain its original state. BOD degrades while dissolved oxygen rises and the organic matter is mineralized, forming nitrates, sulfates, phosphates, and carbonates. The presence of algae becomes prominent, and protozoa, rotifers, macroscopic plants like sponges reappear. Organisms like like snails flourish at the bottom. Now, what is a physical indices? Physical indices means that its color, turbidity, and suspended solid. So, if there are certain physical indices which are based on the color. So, what is the color? Because if water is in the clean zone, we will see relatively transparent water, like not so dirty or polluted water. We will see the turbidity low, so we will see this suspended solid very low, which eventually leads the turbidity. In septic zone, we will see lesser suspended solids because they can get settled, but still there is there is or there could be, because of the microbial activities, it is not going to be that transparent and the turbidity will lower exposed to that decomposition zone. Recovery zone, it tries to improve, and by the time it reaches clean zone, again it will attain a less turbidity, a very less suspended solids, and almost transparent color. The lower BOD values, we are in the clean zone, okay, very low value clean zone, or if it is getting further lowered, we are in the recovery zone. COD is similar indicator of the BOD. There could be dissolved solids, so that could be one of the chemical indices. What is happening to the metals, what is happening to the dissolved nutrients, and those kind of stuff. Then there could be the biological indices in another form.
Flag pollution. Lakes contain high level of pollution relative to the surrounding landscape and environment. Species of aquatic organism that known as bioindicator used as indicator of pollution. Pollution is categorized by how it enters into the environment either by point source or by the non-point source pollution. How does pollution affect the lakes? Pollution can disrupt aquatic life and lead to the harmful algal blooms. Industrial runoff containing heavy metals that disrupt the food chain thus reduce the biodiversity. And the next is sediments reducing physical activity like water quality and clarity. Point source pollution is easier to manage because it is identifiable source than the non-point source pollution. Non-point source, as all of you know, it is the cumulative sources of pollution. Level of toxicity of pollutant is an important consideration. Lifetime of pollutant determines its stay into the environment. Suppose one pollutant, that is, if you suppose pesticides are sprayed on the plant, some pesticides are persistent and their lifetime is very much important for their stay into the environment. Long-lived pollutants such as polychlorinated biphenyl, mercury, resistant to degradation. Hence, these long-lived pollutants may be banned by environmental protection agencies, in thus reducing the water pollution into the lakes. Oligotrophic and eutrophic lakes is basically determining the amount of nutrients into water. That is the nutrients, basically nitrogen, phosphorus. Oligotrophic lakes are characterized by low nutrient values, which limits the lake's ability to support animal life. Consequently, the water remains clear. Eutrophic lakes are characterized by high level of nutrient values, which allows microorganisms and algae to grow in large numbers, which then allow animals that feed on these algae also to be supported. Pollution is an undesirable change in physical, chemical, or biological characteristics of air, land, or water that adversely affect the living conditions for either humans or other living organisms. Water pollution is the impairment of the beneficial uses of water. Water quality can be adversely affected by direct and indirect sources. Indirect sources are called non-point sources and direct sources are the point sources. Stormwater runoff, which may contain fertilizers, pesticides, soil lost from construction sites, and oil residues washed off street, is the non-point source of pollution. What can citizens do to reduce the non-point source pollution? First of all, limit the use of pesticide and fertilizers and use them at appropriate times of year in recommended amount. Introduce the natural predators to your garden and use pest resistant plants. Introduce the integrated pest management technology. Prevent property erosion by covering bare soil with vegetation. Participate in a streamlined cleanup program that remove obstructions from stream channels and revegetate stream banks. Landscape yards to minimize the rainwater runoff. Place retaining walls or diversions on steeply sloping ground to reduce the rate of water flow and erosion. Make sure that septic tanks work properly. Dispose of litter in garbage cans or recycle bins. Recycle glass, aluminum, plastic, paper, motor oil, and newspaper. And never ever intentionally dump anything into a storm drain.
Point source water pollution is largely regulated through the Clean Water Act, which gives the Environmental Protection Agency the authority to set the limits on the acceptable amount of pollutants that can be discharged into water of the United States. 1972 law also created federal authority for a permit system. The Act defines a pollutant as any type of industrial, municipal and agricultural waste discharged into water such as solid waste, sewage, garbage, sewage sludge, chemical waste, biological materials, radioactive materials, rock, industrial, municipal and agricultural waste. Point source water pollution is discharged into water through both direct and indirect methods. Direct discharge are the pollutants that are discharged directly to the surface of water body. Individual states are authorized by the Environmental Protection Agency to issue permits when they have demonstrated that their program is at least as stringent as the Environmental Protection Agency program. States perform the day-to-day issuance of permits and oversight of the program, while the Environmental Protection Agency provides review and guidance to the states.
Measurement of water pollution that include either physical testing method, chemical testing method, or biological testing method. Some methods may be conducted in situ. Control of water pollution requires infrastructure, that is the wastewater treatment plant and management plant. Sampling from biological testing involves the collection of plants and animals from surface water bodies. Sampling for biological testing involves the collection of plants and animals. Then, depending on the type of assessment, the organism may be identified for population counts and returned to the water body, or they may be dissected for bioassays to determine the toxicity. Effective control of urban runoff include reducing speed and quantity of flow that improve the water quality. Wastewater treatment plants to protect the water bodies from untreated wastewater. Many contamination events are restricted in time, most commonly in association with the rain event. For this reason, graph samples are often inadequate for fully quantifying contaminant levels. Scientists gathering this type of data often imply autosampler device. That is, they use the autosampler device that pump increments of water at either time or discharge interval. Physical testing method include the water test of water include temperature, solid concentration, total suspended solids, and turbidity. Chemical testing method, water sample may be tested using the analytical chemistry as with use of the instrument to identify or quantify the sample of water, that how much it contains, how much quantity of the pollutant. Many published test methods are available both for organic and inorganic compounds. Frequently used methods include the pH, biochemical oxygen demand, chemical oxygen demand, nutrients, nitrates and phosphorus compounds, metals including copper, zinc, cadmium, lead, mercury, oil and grease, total petroleum hydrocarbons, and the pesticide. Now the biological testing method. Biological testing involves the use of plant, animal or microbial indicators to monitor the health of an aquatic ecosystem. These are the biological species or ground group of species whose function, population or status can reveal what degree of ecosystem or environmental integrity is present. One example of group of bioindicators are copepods and other small water crustaceans that are present in many water bodies. Such organisms can be monitored for changes That biochemical change either occur, physiological change either occur, or behavioral change that may indicate a problem within their ecosystem. So the next is the control measures of the water pollution. How you can control the water pollution? Reuse the treated wastewater for irrigation. Find the any alternative chemical instead of the toxic pollutants. That minimize the use of the fertilizers or pesticides. In practice, 4 R's. 4 R's means refuse, reduce the resources waste, reduce the air pollution, reduce the poverty, reduce and fertilize your gardens and yard plants with manure or compost instead of commercial inorganic fertilizer, because inorganic fertilizers contain many inorganic chemicals that contaminate the water bodies. Minimize the use of pesticides are used for the protection of the plants. Instead of using the pesticide, biopesticides may be used to protect the plants. Never apply fertilizer or pesticides near a body of water. Uh, Grow or buy organic foods. Don't use water fresheners in toilets. Don't flush unwanted medicine into the water bodies. Don't pour pesticides, paint, solvents, oil, antifreeze, or other products that contain harmful chemicals down the drain or onto the groundwater, because this groundwater contaminates the overall water of the ocean, land, and causing the water pollution, which may cause severe diseases as waterborne disease,